So this is the sad consequence of moving down to one tank in Overwatch 2 is you've created this really bad rock paper scissors problem in Overwatch, and it's gotten even worse in season 2. So when Overwatch 2 first launched, here's the basic diagram of what season 1 was for tank play, which was okay, so you're going to pick one of these three tanks because they were the strongest tanks in the game at the beginning of this at launch. And so if someone came out and say one team was Diva and one team was Zarya, they lose the first fight. They probably lose the first fight. The Diva then switches to Winston to counter the Zarya, or Zarya. Obviously you can have mirror matches, but for this demonstration, I'm just sticking with different characters, and so they go Winston to counter the Zarya. The Zarya that goes back to spawn is like, well, okay, then I'm just gonna go Diva. Diva now counters Winston, so this Winston's like, okay, well now they're on Diva, so I'm gonna go Zarya, and it becomes this rock paper scissors thing of like freaking Pokemon out here, and this is the consequence of only having one tank is you have this freaking problem. And so these two characters both get nerfed. They get weaker, and now Hog rises into prominence because with these two characters now weaker, Hog breaks up this trio by saying, well, I'm just better than all three of you. So, well, I'm just better than all three of you now. So now all three of these characters move into being mid tier, and they just drop out. So you have this. And now Hog is just the best tank in the game, and you shouldn't really play anything other than Hog. So it's like, okay, well, Hog's the best character in the game. What shuts down Hog? You have Orisa. Orisa beats Hog. So great. Okay, Orisa beats Hog. Okay, so but all Orisa can really do, because this is Orisa's life in the game, is she's just a statue. She doesn't die. Pretty much everyone who picks up Overwatch 2 says Orisa doesn't die. That's all Orisa does right now. She's in this really weak state where all she can do is just live and use her stun to shut down Roadhog. Anytime you see Roadhog start healing, anytime you see him start hooking, you just throw your spear at him because Roadhog is Roadhog, and because that's what Roadhog does. Is he just either is looking to heal or looking to hook, so he can get his one shots. Which when they moved Doomfist to tank, they were like, oh, well, Doomfist is a one-shot character as a DPS, and we can't have a one-shot character on DPS, we can't have a tank that one-shots. That's why they made Doomfist into this completely weak mess that he was for Season 1, because they were like, oh, we can't have a one-shot tank, and Roadhog's just sitting right there, untouched. In fact, he got more health, by the way, just because Roadhog's fat, he has more health than a giant armored fucking German here in fucking Reinhardt, which is just stupid. And so now Orisa stops Roadhog from doing all that stuff, but you can't do anything else. So how do you stop Orisa? How do you stop someone from being Orisa? You go Sigma. Sigma just pokes at Orisa, pokes at Orisa, pokes at Orisa. What's she gonna fucking do? He's got a shield to hide behind. Okay, so you go back, and then they just go back to Hog. And so they're like, okay, well now I'm on Orisa, so I'm gonna go to Hog. And once Sigma loses his shield, you sorry. Once Sigma loses his shield, Hog can just hook him in like it's nothing. So it's then, okay, well now how do we counter the Hog? We go Orisa, and you've created this exact same problem again of this rock paper scissors crap. But the thing that's now changed since Hog, Orisa, and Sigma didn't get looked at in season 2, you have this new thing, which is Doomfist comes into play and just says, "Hey, what's going on, guys?" And he enters the fray, and just like it doesn't change anything because Orisa counters both of them. Hog at lower tiers counters Doomfist, but like at higher tiers, good Doomfist players will know how to how to play well against a Hog. Doomfist kind of wins that matchup at higher tiers, and so you still have this same problem of like, okay, well, how do we stop this? And Doomfist is obviously just really fucking strong now, and so Orisa counters both of them, and Orisa probably shuts down Doomfist just like harder than Roadhog shuts down Doomfist. And so you have Doom, and so what happens is you now have Doom entering this fray, and he's basically just him and Roadhog just share the same spot, and they're the two strongest tanks in the game right now. And so it just creates yet another loop of this is the rock paper scissors matchup that we're currently in with single tank, and then every other tank in the game doesn't matter. Obviously, you can still do stuff with Winston. Like Winston still is pretty solid, and like these two are okay characters. Like I still think like Diva and Zarya are in decent spots, but like what are like they aren't gonna break this rotation because these are the two meta tanks. These like if you're these are the two strongest tanks in the game, so you're gonna play these two tanks, and then these are the way that you counter this cycle of countering those tanks. And so then you have Ramattra and Junker Queen off on the side here who are countered by Hogs. So like if you're countered by the strongest tank in the game, then you're niche because like all they have to do is go play the strongest tank in the game and you're countered. And then there's Ball, who's just Overwatch 1 version of Ball. Every other tank in the game got buffed so that they could compensate in being the solo tank in the game. And Ball kind of is just the exact same thing he was in Overwatch 1, and his playstyle of being a flanking tank is really weak when you don't have another tank. And so he's just off in his own little corner until he gets changed. And then there's just Reinhardt, who's kind of in this same category, except he's kind of countered by Doom because like Reinhardt's whole thing is that he's like this front line with the shield, but if Doom's just absolutely just destroying your back line, then what the hell is Ryan supposed to do? And Ryan can really only be played with like a Lucio or a Kiriko as his supports. And so this is the sad state of tank play. And how are they supposed to break this loop? Because I think like what okay, so you nerf Roadhog falls off. Like you say you severely nerf Roadhog and you nerf you nerf fucking Doomfist, for example. Okay, cool. Now we just go back to this, where it's like, okay, now Diva Zarya is are the two strongest tanks in the game again with Winston. And like what are you supposed to do? This is the problem. Like what how do you fix this? And this is the sad affair of tank play where it's just a giant game of rock paper scissors, and it's really really sad, and it's why a lot of tank players aren't enjoying Overwatch 2 right now. I don't know what they do to fix this.